Hello, this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and today we're going to be making this little playful penguin card. It's really pretty and involves a little bit of inking and using some dies and just a simple inside. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do the inside. Well, actually, we start with our base, which is just a 5.5 by 8.5 scored and folded. And on the inside, we're going to take the second to the largest die from the rectangle stitched frames. So the second biggest one here. And we're going to go ahead and die cut it on some Seaside Spray paper here. So I've already cut it. And then what we need to do is we need to stamp the sentiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Stamparatus. I really enjoy using the Stamparatus because if I don't get it inked correct the first time, I can re-ink it and it'll be perfect. Also, make sure that you have the correct side after you've stitched your die cut, your stitched frames. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the magnets on. Just like so and like so. And then the sentiment is actually from So Many Stars, which is this stamp set here. And then the snow from Snowman Season over here. So I'm going to line this up on my Stamparatus. And if you're doing a lot of cards, this thing is great. I mean, who makes just one card? So when you line it up and put it on your plate, just leave it there because you can make a whole bunch of cards in a row. So that's great. Then I'm going to take my Night of Navy ink. I'll go ahead and open this up. Slide it. And we're going to tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Don't really push hard because you don't want to over ink the sides. And then press down. And that looks great, but you know what? I want to do it again. So tap, 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 and close it up like that. And it's great. So I'm going to take this off, and we'll put the Stamparatus to the side. And we're going to go ahead and take our card base and get some snail. Okay. And just put it in the middle like so. Really, really silly easy. So it'll look like that. Okay, we'll put this to the side. And next we're going to go to the card front. Now the first thing we want to do is go ahead and get the 3D embossing folder. It's Winter Knits 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to take a piece of Night of Navy. And this Night of Navy is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then I'm going to take the inside of the embossing folder and I'm going to ink it with Memento. And then I'm going to run it through my machine. Now, with a 3D folder, you need to go on Stampin' Up! And buy their 3D embossing folder plate. This will make the 3D embossing folder work. So, and I've already done that. So here's the result. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's the text, the black ink is in the texture of the card. So this is really neat. So we're going to take this and I'll go ahead and affix it to my card base now. So, and you can decide which part of the knit design you want to see on here. Like there's more lines over here, but there's more of the pattern. I think I'll put more of the pattern on the right. And then you really have to line this up good because it's really cut right to the edge of this card. So just like that. So that's that part. And then we're going to take from the stitched frames here the 4th largest and the 3rd largest frames from the stitched rectangle frames. And then we're going to cut. We are going to cut in Seaside Spray, the bigger one, and then with the smaller die, we're going to cut the paper from Feels Like Frost. And this one has a nice little snow design on there. So you're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to go ahead and affix it to the Seaside Spray. just like that. And we can go ahead and even affix this one now on it as well. Now, on my card, I put it in the upper left-hand corner, so let's go ahead and do that. And we're just nailing it at the moment. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, so far so good. Next part is the part that's going to be the tricky part. And what that is we are going to take the shimmery white paper in the C-size spray. And the C-size spray, we're going to cut 2 7/8 by 3 1/2. And on shimmery white, 2 5/8 by 3 1/4. And what we're going to do is we are going to ink the background on this piece here, which is actually really easy. So here's the shimmery white right here. And we're going to take this Night of Navy, and we are going to take Pacific Point. And go ahead and open these up. And Stampin' Up! Sells these really inexpensive sponges, and I just cut them in 6s. So this one I used for Night of Navy. This one is for Pacific Point. You know what? And what you need to get is a scratch paper, piece of paper. Ink this up really good. And we only want to ink maybe 3/4 of that white, shimmery white. So, and then the Pacific Point is going to be more of the lighter color, which we want to keep in the middle more than the outside. The outside should be darker and the middle should be lighter. So we're going to take Pacific Point and we're going to just cover the whole 3/4 of the card with the silly little sponge. Now I have these brushes, and they were they weren't cheap, and I don't know. I mean, I have them, I own them, but I kind of like using the sponge better. These clean up really well, and they're cheap, so who cares, right? So just put it down there, and then we're gonna take. Let's do this right now. I didn't do this when I used the other one before. Every time you use an ink cartridge, you need to close it up, because the worst thing that can happen is you put your project on the ink and then you ruin everything. So close it up and put it aside. Make sure it clicks too. And then I'm going to use the Night of Navy, and I'm going to go on the outside, really ink it up. I tell you what, this Night of Navy is one of my more popular colors, especially when it comes to a sky, which I happen to be doing a lot lately. So if you're going to get any colors, definitely get that Night of Navy. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little darkness on the side. Try to do it in circles too. And then take it and do the edges. You don't want any of that white to show. Give it some good dark on the sides. Okay. And then of course, put these to the side and close up your ink. Close it. Click. It's closed. All right. So that's great. So the next thing we're going to do is, we'll put this to the side, is we're going to go ahead and stamp our penguin. Okay. And what I still like using the Stamparatus for stamping my penguin, because if I don't get him dark enough once, I can hit it again. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Stamparatus again. Now, I already had the sentiment and the snowflake on from the inside of the card, so I'm just going to turn it over and use this side. And I'm going to take my penguin, this penguin here from Playful Penguins, and I'm going to put him right here. Oopsie. Put him right here. And close the lid, bring it back up, and then I'm going to take Memento. So you want your black, stamp it up really good. That's another, obviously you use black all the time. I would get the refills for the black as well. Stampin' Up! Sells those. And I really want my penguin to be dark, so I'm going to stamp him a couple of times. Okay. All right. So we stamped them all up. I'm going to put the lid on the black so I don't ruin something. And then I'm going to take a couple of Stampin' Up! Blending pens. This is the Light Pineapple Punch. And I'm going to take the thick end and I'm going to color in the fins right here and his beak right there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do also is take another piece of the shimmery white, and I'm going to take the scarf for the penguin, and I'm going to line it up. Let's see. Let's take him off. And I'm going to line it up here. And then I'm going to take the Night of Navy, because you definitely want this to be a different color because he's going to go on that black penguin. So go ahead and ink up your scarf. Okay, that's once. I'm going to definitely do it again. I definitely want it darker. That's twice. That looks great. And of course, close your ink cartridge and wait for that click. And then as you notice, I've got a bunch of ink on my hands, and usually when I'm stamping, I will go and wash my hands in between, especially with using a lot of white. So you're just kind of asking to transfer it. So go ahead and just take a baby wipe and a paper towel and wipe off your hands. Okay, so we got both the scarf and the penguin all stamped up. And put this to the side. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to fussy cut these out. They don't have a die. And I already fussy cutted, because you don't want to sit here and watch me do that. I fussy cutted these. And actually, I do have, when I did a whole bunch of cards yesterday, I do have a brother scan and cut. And I stamped a whole bunch on a page, put it on the scan and cut, scanned it, and then it cut like a billion of these. And then when you get them off the, if you fussy cutter or if you scan and cut, you want to take it with the dark black blending pen and do the edge of the penguin, because you might still see some of the white. And then, of course, do the same thing with Night of Navy with the scarf. Just do the edges and it'll give it a nice effect. So put those to the side. And then I'm going to use my silicone mat. I love this silicone mat because it really keeps everything clean, because, you know, your tape and your glue won't really stick to it. And you keep your work space clean. And this is in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, too. So I'm going to take him, and I'm going to put his scarf on, like so. He's really cool. And then I'm going to get, here's that card again. I'll go ahead and get my white. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our penguin and put him on the card. So we're going to do that with dimensionals. So get, you know, like a couple of dimensionals here. And 1 and 2. And 1 and 2. And we're going to put him like right here. So that's where he's going to go, right there. And then I'm going to take my light balmy blue with thick end, and I'm going to color a little bit of snow under his feet here. Just like that. That's easy peasy. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Shimmery Crystal Effects. This is in the holiday catalog. It's new, or newish. I guess they had it before in a different kind of form. Anyway, what this is going to do is we're going to use it kind of like glue, so we can have the ice stamping glitter affixed to it. So we can, it makes it look like snow right there. So I'll go ahead and take this, and I'm just going to put a little bit on. Don't like go crazy. And I'm just going to, if it comes out a little fast, then just kind of spread it around. I used this a bunch yesterday, so I made a lot of cards. I'm going to do it like that. Put the lid on. And then I'm going to take the shimmery stuff here, the glitter. And I'm going to just dump it over that. Just like that. That looks really good. We'll put this to the side, put the lid on. Do this later. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is affix the snowflakes on here and the star. And the snowflakes come from this right here. And I always like to put them on my glass mat. These little snowflakes are like, they attract everything. There's a lot of static on them. So you definitely want to put them on your glass if you have a glass plate. And then I take this glue, another Stampin' Up! Product, and it's the fine tip glue pen. And this is great because the lid has the needle in it. Now, a lot of people have the other kind of glue that I really don't like, this stuff here, because this tip always falls out. My pin, this isn't even the original pin. You're supposed to put a special pin in it. Well, it's bent. I still have problems getting it unclogged. So I haven't had this clog on me yet, and I think it's because it's got the pin inside. So you line it up, you push it all the way in, and then you screw it down. So I think it just keeps it from clogging up a lot less. So we'll take this off. And actually, let's go ahead and take the Balmy Blue and go ahead and affix him on here just with Snail. And put him on like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my pickup tool, which is also another Stampin' Up! Product. So on one end, it has the sticky stuff to pick up all these little doohickeys. It's got a poker. It's also got, you could take this off, and it's got a scoring attachment. It's also got another one where you take it off and you put the brush on to take out the paper and your dies. It's really nice. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and let's put the star on first. So this is Star Designer Elements. We're going to take the star. You can see how much I've used it. And this is just me using it, so that's just awesome. Put the star in the side, in the sky like that. Star. And now we're going to take our glue, and we're going to put a little dab of glue in like 4 different places. And then I'm going to take my sticky end of this and look for the snowflakes in this, snowflake sequence. And I've done a lot of these, so I've been poking through all the snow. So let's just put it on, hold it maybe with the tip of your fingernail, and it'll stay. And then I got this one. This would be great. If I didn't have this little sticky thing on the end, I would really be struggling, especially doing a video and trying to do that at the same time. So let's move these to the side. Okay. And get back our card here. Now, we're going to go ahead and take him. Whoopsie, one of them fell out. You should really let it dry in between. Of course, it's my video, so we can't have it dry. Don't have to wait. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put him about right here. Okay. And then the last part to make is the sentiment on the front. And what I've taken is the Seaside Spray and the Night of Navy. And this is cut with the rectangle stitched frames. Again, these are the second and third largest from the longer one. So I cut those and did that. And then I also took the star from Stitched Stars. I took this star right here. This one right here. And while I was cutting the Seaside Spray, I put that star in the middle here and cut them at the same time. So I got that out of it. And then I took a piece of the silver foil and just affixed it to the back. And now that little silver foil is coming up there. So that was fun. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and snail it to the other one here in Night of Navy. The last thing I'm going to stamp is the Merriest Wishes, which is in the Playful Penguin. So Merry Wishes right there. I'm going to go ahead and just use a block. And then I also like to use the pad for when you're using a block, so it's nice and cushy. Even though this is the orange one, it has that cushion on it anyway, I still like using this. It's, to me, I think it's just better. So I'm going to take the Night of Navy again, open it up, and remember, just tap, 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 tap. You don't really have to mush it down, just tap, tap, tap. And then this one just fits in there. So I'm going to look over the top of it and line it up. And of course, I'm not using the Stamparatus, so I'm going to hold it there, hold it pretty good without rocking it. Don't do that because you'll get a shadow. And there we go. Merriest Wishes. So let's go ahead and take the evil ink, because I will put something in it, or it'll dry out or something. Close it up, put it to the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and snail this. And actually, do I want to put, you know what, I think I'll put some dimensionals on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a bunch of dimensionals on it. I'm going to use 4. And take this off. And then just put it on the bottom right here. And that's it. That is the penguin card. So I think it's kind of nice. This one's pretty generic, so you're not, you know, it doesn't say Christmas on it, which is, some people, you know, I'm doing a bunch of company cards, so these are just a little more appropriate. So anyway, please go to my other videos and like them, and please subscribe, and I'll keep making them like 3 times a week. Thanks. Bye.